Shalom, Israel. Today I'm going to talk to you about TEFILLIN. These are TEFILLIN. This is a hand TEFILLIN. It fits on your hand like this. Fits on your hand just like this. And this is a head TEFILLIN. Top on your head like this. And these are important. Very important in your commitment to the Most High God. Let's read Dueteronomy chapter 6 verses 4 through 25. Dueteronomy chapter 6 verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Verse 5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. Verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. Verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. Verse 8. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. Verse 9. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates. Verse 10. And it shall be, when the Lord thy God shall have brought thee unto the land which he swore unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities which thou buildest not, and houses full of good things which thou fillest not, and wells dig which thou diggest not, vineyards and olive trees which thou plantest not. When thou shalt have eaten and be full, then beware lest thou forget the Lord which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. That means slavery. Then thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. Ye shall not go after other gods of the people which are round about you. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. Ye shall not tempt the Lord your God, as ye tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies, and his statutes, which he hath commanded thee. And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest go in and possess the good land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to cast out all thine enemies from before thee, as the Lord hath spoken. And when thy son asks thee in time to come, saying, What mean the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which the Lord our God hath commanded you? Then thou shalt say unto thy son, We were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And the Lord showed signs and wonders great and sore upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in to give us the land which he sware to our fathers. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God for our good always, and he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he has commanded us. Let's move up to Dueteronomy 11, verses 13 through 21. Dueteronomy 11, starting at 13. And it shall come to pass, if you shall hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command you this day, to love the Lord your God, and serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give you the rain of your land in its due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thy oil. And I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourselves, that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. And then the Lord's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, unless ye perish quickly from off the good land which the Lord giveth you. Therefore shall you lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. And ye shall teach them to your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them, as days of heaven upon earth. You know, heaven hasn't reached earth yet, so these things still apply. You can get Tefillin Tefillin. You can get TEFILLINs, TEFILLIN, on eBay. And you got them Jewish kosher Tefillins. I don't mess with nothing kosher because it's prayed on and we don't know who's praying on it. But you got other people who make Tefillin. And inside the Tefillin is Hebrew text of prayers. You see? It's little scrolls of Hebrew text of prayers and Bible verses that's straight out of the Bible that's been written on little scrolls that sit inside the Tefillin, because it says that the word shall be binded to your hand and in between your eyes, as frontlets between your eyes. So you'll find here also, in between my eyes, I also have the words of God written in the original Hebrew language between my eyes also, like Dueteronomy tells me to, until heaven is on earth, and heaven has not reached earth yet. So that means we're still supposed to have it. We got these Israelites running around out here talking about fringes. That's good. Fringes is another one. That's in number 6. I got my fringes being made, because you're supposed to have them made. I got my fringes being made. Once I got my fringes, we're going to do a clip of number 6, because that's what chapter is in. So get yourself your Tefillin if you're being true to the Israelite or the Bible. Let's say the Bible, Israelite culture, or the Bible. Get yourself your Tefillin, get yourself your fringes, and learn the commandments, all of them, the 600 plus commandments. We want to say 613. Really, all 613 don't apply to us, because a lot of them apply to having a temple so that you can make offerings. And one, we don't have a temple, and 2, the temple must be in Jerusalem, and we're not in Jerusalem. We're still in what's it called? We're in dispersion right now. I think it's called diaspora. It's another word, or an African word for dispersion, being dispersed all over the world. He's going to bring us back together in the Holy Land, and the New Jerusalem is going to come down. There will be a new temple, and more than likely we'll have a chance to make our offerings then. So we need to learn about these things now, so we know exactly what to do, because when it happens, it's going to be like a thief in the night. I mean, you can watch this video right now, and 5 hours from now, Yeshua the Messiah could be coming out of the sky. Come on now. Get right, please. The signs of the times are shown in the news, in the weather. We're not even eating fish out to sea no more. The Bible says that we will no longer eat fish out to sea. We eat fish out of a farm. I mean, let's be real. The Bible predicted this. The Bible is the only history book that told us the history and predicted our future. The only one. So I'm just passing off a little information to my people so that my people can get right with God. I wish you all well, and I continue to pray for you all. Shalom.